I was still wearing my funeral suit when my dead wife texted me. The notification lit up my phone at 11:47 p.m., 3 days after we lowered Sarah's casket into the ground. I was sitting in our bedroom, my bedroom now, staring at the closet where her clothes still hung in perfect order, the way she'd left them before she went to Chicago 2 weeks ago. The trip she never came back from. The trip that ended with 2 police officers at my door at 3 a.m. Their faces doing that thing faces do when they're about to destroy your life. Mr. Harrison, there's been an accident. Your wife's rental car went off the road and caught fire outside O'Hare. We're very sorry. Caught fire. Those were the words that had lived in my head for 2 weeks. Not crashed, not accident. Caught fire. The police said the car had veered off a rural access road near the airport during a rainstorm, struck a concrete barrier, and burst into flames. By the time emergency services arrived, the vehicle was fully engulfed. The heat had been so intense that the body inside... I couldn't think about that. Couldn't picture it. They needed dental records to confirm it was her. The fire had been too destructive for visual identification. The coroner was gentle but clear. The remains showed trauma consistent with a high-speed collision followed by thermal exposure. Death would have been immediate from the impact. She didn't suffer in the fire. She didn't suffer in the fire. As if that made it better. As if knowing she was dead before she burned made the image in my head any less horrific. I'd identified her wedding ring. That's what they'd actually shown me. Not a body, but a melted, misshapen piece of gold recovered from the wreckage. "Is this your wife's ring, Mr. Harrison?" And like an idiot, I'd said yes, because it looked like her ring. Because I wanted this nightmare to be over. Because the alternative, that she was still out there somewhere, hurt and alone, was worse than accepting she was gone. But now, my phone was buzzing. "I'm at the airport. Come get me. Please hurry." I dropped the phone like it had burned me. For 30 seconds, I just stared at it lying face up on the carpet. The message still glowing on the lock screen. My heart was doing something arrhythmic in my chest. The scotch I'd been drinking since we got home from the cemetery suddenly felt like acid in my stomach. This was impossible. I'd identified her ring. Dental records had confirmed the remains. The coroner had been very clear. Sarah Mitchell Harrison, age 34, killed on impact when her vehicle left the road at high speed during a rainstorm. The subsequent fire preventing visual identification. I'd buried my wife 3 days ago. And now she was texting me? My hands were shaking as I picked up the phone, unlocked it, opened the message thread. There it was, sent from her number. The same number that had been disconnected by her carrier 3 days ago as part of closing out her accounts. The same number I'd called obsessively in those first 48 hours just to hear her voicemail, just to pretend she might answer. I scrolled up through our message history. The last text before this one was from 2 weeks ago, the morning she'd left. Heading to the hotel for the conference check-in. Meetings start tomorrow. I'll call you tonight. Love you. She never called that night. By 12 midnight, I'd been worried. By 2 a.m., I'd been frantic. By 3 a.m., I'd been talking to police officers who used the past tense when they mentioned her name. Now I stared at the new message. "I'm at the airport. Come get me. Please hurry." This isn't real. I said out loud to the empty bedroom. This is shock or grief or I'm having a breakdown. My phone buzzed again. Sarah, mobile. James, please, I know this is confusing. I'll explain everything. Just come get me. I'm scared. I stood up so fast, the room tilted. The scotch, probably. Or the complete psychological collapse I was apparently experiencing. But what if? What if? That's the thing about grief. It makes you vulnerable to hope in a way that's almost violent. Rational thought becomes optional. You'd believe anything, do anything for one more chance. I grabbed my keys and hit the drive. O'Hare International Airport was 40 minutes from our house in Evanston. I made it in 28. The whole way there, my phone stayed silent. I kept glancing at it on the passenger seat, waiting for another message. Some proof this wasn't an elaborate malfunction, or a cruel prank, or a psychotic break. At every red light, I'd pick it up and reread the messages. I'm at the airport. I'll explain everything. I'm scared. Sarah's voice played in my head. I could hear exactly how she'd say those words. The slight uptick at the end of everything, and the way scared would come out smaller than the other words, because she hated admitting fear. But Sarah was dead. I'd touched her casket. I'd thrown a handful of dirt onto it like you're supposed to, that horrible final gesture. I'd stood between our two daughters, Mia 12 and Emma 9, while they sobbed against my sides, and I'd held them while their mother's casket disappeared into the earth. You can't come back from that. My phone lit up again. I nearly swerved into the next lane. Sarah Mobile. Are you coming? Please tell me you're coming. I pulled over. Right there on the shoulder of I-90. Hazards on, car screaming past at 70 miles an hour. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. What do you say to a ghost? What do you ask the impossible? I typed, "Is this really you?" 3 dots appeared immediately. Someone was typing. Yes, I know you buried someone. I know what you think happened, but I'm alive, James. I'm at O'Hare Terminal 3 baggage claim. I've been trying to get home for 2 weeks. Please. My breath caught. I know you buried someone. How would anyone else know that? The funeral was private, just family and close friends. We hadn't posted anything on social media. Sarah's parents were old-fashioned about that kind of thing, and I'd been too shattered to argue. I typed back, "What's our daughter's middle name?" The one we never told anyone. The one that wasn't on any public records because of a clerical error at the hospital that we'd never bothered to fix. Sarah Mobile. Mia's is Rose, after your grandmother. Emma's is Catherine, after mine. James, I don't have time for this. Something is very wrong and I need you. I put the car in drive once more.
The airport at midnight was a liminal space. Too empty to feel fully real, too bright to feel like nighttime. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. A janitor pushed a wide mop across the floor. A few tired travelers hunched over their phones waiting for delayed flights. I stood in the middle of baggage claim, slowly turning in a circle, scanning every face. No Sarah. My phone buzzed. Sarah, Mobile. Do you see the Hudson News? I'm behind it, in the family restroom. I can't come out there. Please come here. The family restroom was around the corner from the bookstore, a single occupancy room with a lock. I walked toward it like I was moving through water, everything slow and strange. The door was marked occupied. I knocked. Soft at first, then harder when there was no answer. Sarah? Nothing. I knocked again. Sarah, if you're in there. The lock clicked. The door opened 6 inches. An eye appeared in the gap. Brown, familiar, rimmed with red like she'd been crying. Sarah's eye. Oh God, I breathed. Oh my God. The door opened wider, and my wife stepped out. She was thinner than I remembered. Her dark hair was chapped short and badly, like she had done it herself with kitchen scissors. She wore clothes I'd never seen, a Target sweatshirt and cheap jeans, flip-flops that revealed chipped nail polish. Her face was pale, hollowed out. There was a bruise on her cheek that had faded to yellow-green. But it was Sarah. Her face, her scar above her left eyebrow from when she fell off her bike at 12, the tiny mole near her ear, the way she stood, weighed on her right leg because her left knee never been quite right since college soccer. "James," she said, and her voice broke. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't process what I was seeing. "I know," she said. "I know this is impossible, but I need you to listen very carefully because we don't have much time." "You're dead," I said. The words came out flat, factual. "You died 2 weeks ago. Your car caught fire. I identified your ring. We've had a funeral. I buried you. You buried someone who looked like me, someone they wanted you to think was me. James, I've been running for 2 weeks. I've been hiding, and I need you to trust me right now because we have to go." "Running from what?" She glanced over my shoulder, scanning the terminal with frightened eyes. "Not here, please. We need to get to the car. I'll explain everything, I swear, but we need to move." "Sarah!" "Do you trust me?" She grabbed my arms, her hands solid and warm and real. After everything, after 11 years together, after 2 children, do you trust me? I looked into her eyes. The same eyes I'd fallen in love with in a graduate school library, the same eyes I'd watched tear up when Mia was born, the same eyes that had met mine across the dinner table 5,000 times. "Yes," I heard myself say. "Yes, I trust you. Then let's go." While in the car, Sarah didn't speak until we were back on I-90 headed toward home. She sat in the passenger seat with her arms wrapped around herself, staring out at the dark highway. I kept glancing at her, afraid if I looked away, she'd disappear. Finally, she said, "6 months ago, I found something at work." I glanced at her. "What kind of something?" "Documents I wasn't supposed to see. Evidence of fraud. Massive fraud. Sterling and Associates, James. The firm where I work. They've been cooking their books for years, embezzling from client accounts. Elderly people, pension funds, trusts. It's hundreds of millions of dollars." Sarah was a senior accountant at Sterling and Associates, a prestigious wealth management firm in downtown Chicago. She'd worked there for 8 years. She was good at her job. Meticulous. That's what had made her see what others missed. "And you reported it?" "I tried to report it internally first. I went to my supervisor, Marcus Chen. He thanked me for my diligence and said he'd look into it. 2 days later, I got called into a meeting with the CFO, Gerald Whitmore. He told me I'd misread the documents, that I was overworked and maybe needed some time off, that if I kept making accusations, it could affect my career." "You threatened her?" "Not directly. Not then. But that night," her voice cracked. "That night, someone broke into my car in the parking garage. Nothing was stolen,
but there was a note on the driver's seat. It said, "Your daughters go to Fairview Elementary. Think carefully." My hands tightened on the steering wheel. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I was terrified." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "These people knew where our kids went to school, James. They'd been in my car. They knew where we lived. I didn't know who I could trust, if they had police connections, if they were watching me. So I kept quiet for a while. I pretended I'd drop it. But you didn't. I couldn't. All those people they'd stolen from, retirees who'd lost their entire savings, families destroyed. I couldn't just let it go." She took a shaky breath. "So I started making copies, quietly, a few pages at a time. I'd photograph documents with my phone, export files to a thumb drive. It took me 3 months to get everything I needed. And then she contacted the FBI. I sent an anonymous email to their financial crimes division. An agent named Rebecca Torres called me 2 days later. We met at a coffee shop in Naperville, somewhere away from downtown, somewhere I thought would be safe. And the business trip? There was no business trip, no conference. That was a lie." She looked at me with guilty eyes. "Agent Torres said they needed me to come in for a formal debriefing, to go through everything I'd found, but she didn't want me doing it at the FBI office. Said if Sturming had any law enforcement connections, someone might notice. So she set me up at a secure hotel in Schauenberg under a fake name. I told you I was at a conference, so you wouldn't worry." "How long were you there?" 3 days. Torres and another agent, a guy named Gary Phillips, went through everything with me. Every document, every transaction, every name. By the 3rd day, Torres said they had enough. She said I'd done the right thing. She said they'd start building a federal case. Sarah's face went pale. "She put me up in a hotel room under a fake name. Said agents were watching. Said I was safe." "So what went wrong?" "The 3rd night, it was around 2 a.m., I heard someone at my door, not knocking, picking the lock. I could hear the metal scraping, see the handle starting to turn. Jesus Christ. Torres had given me a number to call if anything happened, but I didn't have time. I just grabbed my phone in my purse and ran. The room had a window that led to a fire escape. I went out that way, down 3 floors, and just ran. Barefoot, in my pajamas, through a hotel parking lot at 2 in the morning." "Where did you go?" "A 24-hour diner a mile away. I called Torres from a payphone, told her what happened. She said she'd send agents to pick me up, but I didn't trust it anymore. If they'd found me at a secure hotel that only the FBI knew about, that meant someone told them. Someone on the inside." "So you ran?" "I went to a Walmart, bought scissors and hair dye and cheap clothes with cash, cut my hair in a gas station bathroom. I ditched my phone because I knew they could track it. I've been moving every day since then, cash-only motels, different town every night, trying to figure out what to do. And the body," my voice sounded strange in my own ears, "who did I bury?"
Sarah was silent for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was hollow. Her name was Jennifer Morales. Agent Torres told me the assassins killed her when they thought I was the one. She was a housekeeper at the hotel, 28 years old, immigrant from El Salvador. She had a 6-year-old son. I felt sick. They killed her. They must have grabbed her when she came to clean my room that night, after I escaped. She was about my height, my build, dark hair like mine. Sarah's hands were shaking. They killed her, put her body in my rental car and set it on fire on a rural road near the airport, made it look like I'd lost control in the rain and crashed. The fire was intentional, to destroy identifying features. Agent Torres thinks the assassins realized their mistake and decided to cover up.
They did that to make sure no one could tell it wasn't me without forensic testing. And even then, her voice cracked. They put my wedding ring on her finger, James. They must have taken it from my hotel room before I escaped. I'd left it on the nightstand when I showered. They dressed her in clothes like mine. They made sure that when you had to identify, they made sure you'd confirm it was me based on circumstantial evidence.
I thought about the identification. They hadn't actually shown me a body. I realize that now. They'd shown me a ring, a melted, blackened piece of gold that could have been anyone's. Mr. Harrison, we need you to confirm some details. Your wife was wearing her wedding ring, correct? Yellow gold plain band. Yes. She was driving a Toyota Camry rental from Enterprise. Yes. She was 5'6", approximately 130 pounds, dark brown hair. Yes. Yes to all of it. The dental records match the file from her dentist, Dr. Pamela Chen in Evanston. That's her dentist. Then I'm very sorry, Mr. Harrison. The remains recovered from the vehicle are those of your wife. Remains. They'd use that word. Not body. Remains. Because there hadn't been much left to identify after the fire. And I'd believed them. Why wouldn't I? Why would anyone lie about something like that? How did they get the dental records to match? I asked. Sarah looked away. Agent Torres thinks they bribed someone at my dentist office. Or maybe they just hacked the database and swapped the files. It wouldn't be that hard. Replace my file with Jennifer's. When the coroner requested my dental records for comparison, they got Jennifer's instead. But the dentist never actually looked at the body. The coroner's office did the comparison, just matched the x-rays on file to the teeth of the corpse. If the files were switched beforehand, no one would know. That made horrible, perfect sense. An innocent woman is dead because I tried to do the right thing. A little boy lost his mother because of me. Because of them, I said firmly. Not you, them. Does it matter? She's still dead. We drove in silence for a while. How did you get my number? I asked. You said you ditched your phone. I bought a burner at a convenience store. I had your number memorized. I've called you 1,000 times over the years. I've been trying to figure out the right time to contact you. If it was safe, if they were watching you. But tonight, I couldn't stay away anymore. I knew you'd be devastated. I knew the girls. Her voice broke. I needed to come home. By 1:15 a.m., we were 10 minutes from our house when Sarah's burner phone rang. She looked at the screen, confused. I don't understand. Nobody has this number. It's brand new. Don't answer it, I said. She didn't. It rang 8 times, then stopped. 30 seconds later, my phone rang. Unknown number. James, Sarah said quietly. Don't. I answered anyway, put it on speaker.
A man's voice, calm and professional. Mr. Harrison, I apologize for calling so late. My name is David Reeves. I'm an attorney with Sterling and Associates. Sarah's face went white. I'm sorry, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, but how may I help you at this time? It's late. My wife I stopped. The word died stuck in my throat. Yes, I know. My condolences on your loss. The firm wanted to reach out regarding Sarah's final paycheck and benefits paperwork. There are some documents we need you to sign. This couldn't wait until morning? Well, that's the thing, Mr. Harrison. We've become aware of some irregularities in Sarah's work files. Documents that were accessed without authorization. Files that were copied to external devices. We need to recover those materials. They contain proprietary client information. My blood went cold. I don't know anything about that. I'm sure you don't, but I'm calling because we believe Sarah may have given you something before she traveled. A thumb drive, perhaps? Or access to a cloud account? We'd very much like to retrieve that information. She didn't give me anything. Mr. Harrison, I want to be very clear with you. What Sarah took is extremely sensitive. If it were to fall into the wrong hands, if it were to be published or shared with authorities, it would be very damaging. Not just to the firm, but to a lot of people. Important people. People with resources. Is that a threat? It's a reality. These people, let's just say they don't like loose ends. And right now, you're a loose end. He paused. You have 2 daughters, don't you? Mia and Emma. I nearly drove off the road. Sarah grabbed my arm. Her eyes were huge with terror. The voice continued, beautiful girls. Mia's in 7th grade now, isn't she? Emma's in 4th. They attend Fairview Elementary. Your mother, Dorothy, picked them up from school today. She's watching them in your house while you grieve. She's probably asleep on your couch right now. How do you... Mr. Harrison, we know everything. Where you live, where your children go to school, where your mother lives in Skokie. Your brother Derek in Portland, he works at Cascade Tech, doesn't he? Lives at 2847 Hawthorne Avenue, apartment 6B. Goes jogging every morning at 6 a.m. along the waterfront. Your sister Amanda teaches at Roosevelt High School in Denver. She has twin boys, 8 years old, cute kids, and Sarah's elderly parents at Maple Meadows Retirement Community in Green Bay, Building C, Unit 47. Are you beginning to understand the situation?
I couldn't speak. My throat had closed. Here's what's going to happen. Sarah took something that belongs to us. You're going to find it and return it. Then you're going to sign a non-disclosure agreement, stating that you'll never discuss any of this with anyone. Not the police, not the FBI, not a lawyer, no one. In exchange, everyone lives. You, your daughters, your mother, your brother, your sister, Sarah's parents, everyone. You all get to go on with your lives. And if I don't have what you're looking for, then we'll have to assume Sarah gave it to someone else. Maybe her parents. Maybe your brother Derek. Maybe she put it in a safety deposit box somewhere. His voice hardened. And we'll have to have conversations with all of those people too. Conversations that won't end well. Sarah was crying silently now, her hand over her mouth. You have 48 hours, the man said. We'll be in touch with instructions on how to return the materials. Don't do anything stupid in the meantime. Don't go to the police. Don't try to run. We're watching, Mr. Harrison. Right now, in fact. Check your front porch camera feed. The line went dead. My hands were shaking so badly I had to pull over. We were 2 blocks from our house. James, Sarah whispered. Oh God, James, what have I done? Derek, Amanda, my parents, everyone I love.
I pulled out my phone and opened the app for our Ring doorbell camera. Pulled up the live feed. A black sedan was parked across the street from our house. Just sitting there. Watching. As I watched, the driver's side window rolled down. A hand appeared, holding a phone. The hand waved at the camera. They knew I was watching. They wanted me to know they were there. "We can't go home," Sarah said. "If we go home, We have to go home. The girls are there. My mother is there. We can't just leave them." "Then what do we do?" I stared at the video feed, at the sedan, at our house where our children were sleeping, where my mother was sleeping, completely unaware of the danger parked across the street. "We get them out," I said, quietly. "We pack them in the car and we run." "Run where?" "They said they're watching. They know everything. Derek, Amanda, my parents." "Not everything." I looked at her. "They don't know you're alive. That's our advantage. They think I'm a grieving widower who might have some files. They don't know I have the source. We use that." I parked 2 streets over, on a neighbor's dark street. We approached our house from the back, through the Hendersons' yard, the way Mia and Emma used to when they were little and played with the Henderson kids. The black sedan was still there, visible from the side yard. I could see the glow of a phone screen in the front seat. Someone was awake, watching. "Back door," I whispered to Sarah. "I didn't lock it when I left. I wasn't thinking." "You didn't think you'd need to sneak back into your own house," she finished. "It's okay." The back door opened silently. We slipped inside. The house was dark, except for the flickering blue light of the TV in the living room. My mother was exactly where I'd left her, asleep on the couch, glasses askew, remote still in her hand. Sarah saw her, and her hand flew to her mouth. Tears streamed down her face, but she didn't make a sound. I touched her arm. "The girls first, then we wake my mom. We have to move fast." We crept upstairs. Mia's room was first. I knelt beside her bed, gently shaking her shoulder. "Mia, sweetie, wake up." She stirred, mumbled something. "Mia, I need you to wake up. It's important." Her eyes opened, focused on me in the dark. "Dad? I need you to be very quiet and very brave, okay? We need to leave." "Leave?" She sat up, confused and half asleep. "Why? What's—" Then she saw the figure in the doorway. Saw her mother. The color drained from her face. She opened her mouth, and I saw the scream building. "Mia," Sarah whispered, rushing forward. "Baby, it's me. It's really me. I know you're scared. I know this doesn't make sense, but it's Mom, and I need you to trust me." Mia stared, trembling. Then, "Mom?" "Yes, baby, yes." Sarah knelt beside the bed, taking Mia's face in her hands. "I'll explain everything, I promise, but right now, we need to get your sister, and we need to go. Can you do that for me? Can you be brave?" Mia nodded, tears streaming down her face. "You're really here?" "I'm really here, and I'm never leaving you again." Emma woke more easily. She was a light sleeper. When she saw Sarah, she didn't hesitate. She launched herself into her mother's arms with a sob that Sarah quickly muffled against her shoulder. Mommy, we buried you. They said you were dead." "I know. I'm so sorry." I'm so sorry. Sarah held her tight, rocking her. But I'm here now. I'm here and I'm not leaving you again. Why? I'll explain in the car, baby. Right now, I need you to be very quiet and get dressed. We're going on an adventure. Like when we used to go to the cabin at dawn, remember? How we'd leave super early to beat the traffic? Emma nodded, wiping her eyes. I helped them pack a backpack each, just essentials. Clothes, medications, their favorite stuffed animals. Emma grabbed her worn teddy bear. Mia took her journal and the framed photo of all of us from last Christmas. 5 minutes. That's all we took. Downstairs, I gently shook my mother awake. Mom, wake up. Her eyes opened, confused. James? What time is it? Late. Listen to me. We need to leave. Right now. All of us. Leave? What are you... She saw Sarah standing there and froze. Her face went through about 5 different expressions in 2 seconds. Sarah? Hi, Dorothy, Sarah said softly. I know, it's a lot, but we need to go. I'll explain everything, but we need to move. To her credit, my mother didn't waste time with questions. She'd been a nurse for 40 years. She knew how to move in a crisis. She grabbed her purse and her shoes and was ready in 30 seconds.
We all go out the back, I said. Stay low, stay quiet. Mom, you help Emma. Mia, stay with me. Sarah, a floorboard creaked. We all froze. The creak came again, from the front porch. I moved to the window, staying behind the curtain, and looked out. 2 men were on our porch. One was trying the door handle. The other was looking at the ring camera, his face partially covered by a hood. They're coming in, I whispered. Back door, now, move. We ran. Out the back door, across the yard, through the Hendersons' property. Behind us, I heard the front door of our house crash open, wood splintering, men's voices shouting. Go, 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 I urged. Emma stumbled. Sarah scooped her up without breaking stride. My mother, 72 years old with arthritis in both knees, ran like she was 20. We made it to the car. Get in! Everyone in! I didn't turn on the headlights until we were 3 blocks away. In the rear-view mirror, I saw flashlight beams sweeping through the Hendersons' yard. We'd meted out by seconds.
We drove in tense silence for the first 20 minutes, taking random turns, doubling back, making sure we weren't followed. Finally, on the highway heading north, Sarah spoke. We need to go to Canada. My mother, in the back seat with the girls, said, Canada? Sarah, what in God's name is happening? So Sarah told her everything. The fraud at Sterling and Associates, the FBI investigation, the attempt on her life, the murder of Jennifer Morales, the threats against our family, against Derek, against Amanda, against Sarah's parents. My mother listened without interrupting. When Sarah finished, she said quietly, These people killed an innocent woman and framed it as your death. They broke into your house tonight. They're threatening Derek and Amanda and your parents. They'll kill all of us if they can. Yes, Sarah said. Then Canada makes sense. But how do we get there? They'll be looking for us. Detroit-Windsor border crossing. About 4.5 hours from here. Agent Torres gave me a contact before everything went wrong, a Canadian law enforcement liaison who works with international whistleblower cases. If we can get across the border, if I can get to Canadian soil and testify from there with protection, we might have a chance. And if they stop us before we cross, I asked, they won't.
Torres said she'd try to make some calls if I ever needed emergency extraction.
Our passports are clean. We're just a family taking a trip to visit Toronto. If anyone asks, we're going to see the CN Tower and Niagara Falls. Mia spoke up from the back. Mom, are they really going to try to hurt us? And Uncle Derek and Aunt Amanda? Sarah turned in her seat to look at her daughter. Baby, I'm going to be honest with you, because you're old enough to understand. Yes, these are very bad people who've done very bad things, and they don't want anyone to find out. They've already threatened everyone we love, but we're not going to let them hurt anyone. Your dad and we're going to keep everyone safe. How? By being smart, by staying together, by getting somewhere they can't reach us, and by making sure the FBI protects Uncle Derek and Aunt Amanda and Grandma and Grandpa Mitchell.
Emma, curled up against my mother, said in a small voice, I'm scared. I know, sweetheart. I'm scared too. But being scared is okay. It means you understand the danger. And understanding the danger helps us stay safe. My phone rang. Unknown number again. I looked at Sarah. She nodded. I answered and put it on speaker. Mr. Harrison. The same voice from before. That was very foolish. I don't know what you're talking about. You just left your house with your entire family, your mother, your 2 daughters, and, well, this is interesting. A woman we couldn't quite identify on the Ring camera. Dark, short hair, thin. Who is she, Mr. Harrison? A grief counselor? A family friend? My blood ran cold. They'd seen us. The Ring camera. It had caught us leaving. Where are you going? The voice asked. It's almost 4 a.m. Strange time for a family drive. I said nothing.
Let me tell you what's going to happen now. You're going to turn around. You're going to come back home. And you're going to give us what Sarah took. Because the alternative is that we start making phone calls to people who are watching your brother's apartment in Portland right now. To people who know where your sister's twins go to school in Denver. To people who can walk right into Maple Meadows retirement community and have a conversation with Sarah's elderly parents. You're bluffing. Am I? We have people everywhere, Mr. Harrison. Your brother's morning jog route, your sister's classroom, the nurse's station at your in-laws' retirement home. It would be so easy. An accident, a robbery gone wrong, a medical emergency. No one would question it. Stop, I said. Then turn around. We don't have what you want. Sarah didn't give me anything. The FBI has it. Agent Rebecca Torres.
There was a pause. Then, if that's true, Mr. Harrison, then you're no longer useful to us. And people who aren't useful don't need to be alive. Neither do their families. Wait. You have one chance. Tell us where Sarah hid the backup copies. The thumb drives, the cloud accounts, whatever she used. Tell us now, and we'll leave your extended family alone. We'll focus on just you and your immediate family. Quick, painless. But if you make us work for it, if you make us go after everyone you love one by one, it won't be pleasant. You know what I realized in that moment? with my hands shaking on the wheel, my supposedly dead wife beside me, and killers watching my house through my own camera? Choices matter. I chose to answer that impossible text. I chose to believe. I chose to run. And you made a choice too. To be here right now, invested in whether my family survives. So subscribe to Nestor Tales right now. This became your story the moment you started caring if we made it out alive. And there are dozens more waiting. Stories about impossible choices, about ordinary people doing extraordinary things when their lives depend on it. Hit subscribe. Turn on notifications. Drop a like if this has moved you. Because in 2 minutes, I'm telling you about the bridge. The white van, the moment I thought we'd all die. I need you with me for the ending. Subscribe now, then let's finish this together.
Sarah grabbed the phone from my hand, and what she said next changed everything. "I have it," she said. "The evidence. All of it. Multiple copies hidden in multiple locations. And if anything happens to my family, anything, it all goes public. Every news outlet, every prosecutor, everything." Silence on the other end. "Who am I speaking to?" the voice finally asked. "You know exactly who you're speaking to." Another pause. Longer this time. Then, "Mrs. Harrison, we were told you died." "You were told wrong. Clearly, this is unexpected." I could hear papers rustling, voices conferring in the background. "Where are you?" "Somewhere you'll never find us." "Mrs. Harrison, let's be reasonable. You're a mother. You have 2 daughters who love you, who need you. Do you really want them to spend their lives running, looking over their shoulders, never feeling safe?" "That's exactly what you're offering us anyway. The difference is, my way, your bosses go to prison. My bosses are very powerful people with very long reach. You think Canada will protect you? You think the FBI will? Sarah, our agent killed another person and made our boss and the world believe it was you. They burned the body beyond recognition. Do you think we can't do it again? Do you think we can't reach your brother in Portland, your sister in Denver, your aging parents in Green Bay?" "Maybe," Sarah said. "But this time, I'm ready. This time I know you're coming. And this time, if I die, if anything happens to me or anyone I love, you go down with me. I've set up a dead man switch. If I don't check in every 24 hours, everything gets released automatically. Every document, every transaction, every name. It goes to the FBI, the SEC, the Justice Department, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and about 50 other places simultaneously."
I looked at her in surprise. She'd never mentioned this. The voice was quiet for a moment. "You're bluffing. Try me. Don't let me check in tomorrow at 3 p.m. and find out. Better yet, hurt my brother or my sister or my parents and watch your entire organization burn to the ground within hours. Mrs. Harrison, we're done talking. Leave my family alone. Leave everyone I love alone. Touch one hair on Derek's head or Amanda's kids or my parents, and I end you, all of you." She hung up. For a moment, no one spoke. Then my mother said quietly, "Sarah, that was incredibly brave and incredibly stupid. I know. They're going to come after us even harder now. I know, but they're also going to be scared. They know I'm alive now. They know their whole plan failed,
and they know I have leverage. She turned to me. I wasn't bluffing about the dead man's switch, by the way. I set it up 2 weeks ago. If I don't log in to a secure server every day by 3 p.m., everything releases automatically. That's brilliant, I said. That's terrifying, my mother corrected. If something happens to you, then the truth comes out anyway. That's the point. They can't kill me without destroying themselves. And now they know that if they go after Derek or Amanda or my parents, the same thing happens.
Emma, who'd been listening with wide eyes, said, "Mommy, what if they don't believe you?" Sarah smoothed her daughter's hair. "Then they'll test me. They'll attack Uncle Derek, Aunt Amanda, Grandma or Grandpa Mitchell. And when anything happens to any of them, they'll know I meant it." "But we're still running," Mia said. "Yes, because even scared, desperate people are dangerous. We need to get somewhere they can't reach us while the FBI finishes building their case." It's now 6:15 a.m. and we're somewhere on I-94. We'd been driving for nearly 3 hours. Then Mia said, "Dad, there's a car following us." I checked the rearview mirror. Black sedan, 3 cars back. It had been there since we'd merged onto I-94 outside Michigan City, Indiana. "How long?" Sarah asked, immediately alert. 20 minutes, maybe 30. She turned to look back, careful not to disturb Emma, who'd finally fallen asleep against her. "James?" "I see it." My mother was watching too. "What do we do?" Sarah said, "Take the next exit. Let's see if they follow." I did. The black sedan followed. "Damn it," Sarah breathed. "We're still over an hour from the border." Then we don't stop. We keep going. We get there and we cross. And once we're in Canada, if they stop us before we cross. I pressed the accelerator. Our Honda CR-V wasn't built for speed, but it could do 90. They won't.
The black sedan kept pace. For 47 minutes we drove in silence, broken only by Emma's soft breathing and the hum of tires on asphalt. The sedan stayed exactly 3 cars back, not closing distance, not falling behind, just there. Mia was watching it with wide eyes. "Mom, what if they won't," Sarah said firmly. "They can't. Not on a public highway, not in daylight with witnesses. This is a scare tactic. They want us to panic, want us to make a mistake." "Is it working?" Mia asked quietly. Sarah looked at her daughter and managed a small, fierce smile. "No, we're too close now." At 7:02 a.m., as we passed the sign reading Detroit 12 miles, the sedan took an exit. Gone. Sarah exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for an hour. Maybe she had. They wanted us to know they could find us, wanted us scared, wanted us to doubt whether we'd make it. "Did it work?" I asked. She looked at our daughters, Mia pretending to be brave, her journal clutched against her chest. Emma, still asleep and innocent, her teddy bear tucked under her arm. Then at my mother, whose arthritic hands were folded in her lap, but whose eyes were sharp and watchful. Then at me. "No," she said. "We're too close now." My phone rang again. I didn't recognize the number, but something told me to answer. "Mr. Harrison, this is Agent Rebecca Torres, FBI."
Sarah's head whipped around. I put it on speaker. "Agent Torres," I said carefully, "how did you get this number?" I've been trying to reach Sarah, but she's not steady for 2 weeks. When I heard about the accident, I knew something was wrong. The forensics didn't add up. Wrong burn patterns, accelerant residue, signs of foul play. We kept the case open as a potential homicide. Then an hour ago, our monitoring flagged some concerning communication. People looking for a family matching your description heading north from the Chicago area. Sterling's phones have been under surveillance. I put two and two together. Is Sarah with you? Sarah leans toward the phone. I'm here. Thank God. Sarah, listen to me very carefully. Where are you right now? About 40 miles from the Detroit-Windsor crossing. Perfect. Don't stop. Don't deviate. Get across that border. I have a contact waiting for you. Inspector Michael Chen with the RCMP. He's coordinating with Canadian Border Services. They're expecting you. They'll get you into protective custody the moment you cross. Agent Torres, Sarah said, her voice shaking. Have you discovered the person who knew where I was? At the hotel, someone who told them. There was a long pause. I've known. We've been conducting an internal investigation since you disappeared. One of our analysts, Gary Phillips, the agent who was with us during your debriefing, was on Sterling and Associates' payroll. He's been feeding them information about our investigation for over a year. He's the one who told them where you were staying. The agent who sat across from me for 3 days. Yes. He was arrested 6 days ago. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I put you in danger. I thought the hotel was secure. I thought you were safe. I failed you. Is he talking, Phillips? He's cooperating fully, facing 20 years minimum if he doesn't. He's given us names, account numbers, communication records, everything. Combined with what you gave us and the new evidence from Jennifer Morales' murder investigation, we have enough to bring down the entire organization. But we need you alive to testify. They killed Jennifer Morales, an innocent woman. They burned her alive to make everyone think it was me. We know. We've identified her body through DNA. Her family has been notified. We've reopened the case as first-degree murder with special circumstances. Sarah, these people are going down for the rest of their lives. Multiple counts of fraud, conspiracy, murder. But you have to get to Canada first. What about my family? They threatened my brother Derek in Portland, my sister Amanda in Denver, Sarah's parents in Green Bay.
We're putting protective details on all of them as we speak. Portland PD is sending officers to your brother's apartment right now. We've contacted him. He's confused and scared, but he's cooperating. Denver PD is covering your sister and her children. We've placed officers at their home and their school. Green Bay Police have a unit at Maple Meadows Retirement Community. Everyone you care about is being protected. Relief flooded through me. They're safe? They're safe. We heard the threats on the wiretaps. We're already on it. Your family won't be harmed, Mr. Harrison. I promise you that. Sarah was crying. Thank you. God, thank you. Sarah, you did the right thing. What you're doing, it takes courage. And I'm sorry it costs you so much, but you're going to save a lot of people. The restitution alone will help hundreds of families. You're a hero, whether you feel like one or not. I don't feel like a hero. I feel like someone who got an innocent woman killed. Jennifer Morales was killed by criminals trying to cover their crimes. That's not on you. That's on them. And they're gonna pay for it. I promise you that too.
Torres paused. Now get across that border. Inspector Chen will take care of you. And Sarah, don't check in late on that dead man switch. You had them scared. Keep them scared until we have them all in custody. How did you know about... We've been monitoring their communications. They're panicking. Half of them want to run. The other half want to come after you. Your threat bought us time. It probably saved your life and your family's lives. So keep that switch active until I tell you it's safe.
By 7:53 a.m., we could see the Ambassador Bridge in the distance, the massive suspension bridge connecting Detroit to Windsor. The border crossing was just ahead. Everyone stay calm, I said. We're just a family going to visit Toronto. Early morning start to beat traffic. Early fall break trip, Sarah added. In October? My mother said. Schools have weird schedules now. The point is, we're tourists. Normal. Boring. Nothing to see here. We pulled into the line for the crossing. There were maybe 8 cars ahead of us. U.S. Customs first, then the bridge, then Canadian Customs on the other side. As we waited, a white panel van pulled up behind us. Too close. Deliberately close. Sarah saw it in the side mirror. James. I see it. The van's windows were tinted dark. I couldn't see who was inside. Could just be a coincidence, my mother said, but her voice was uncertain. The line moved forward. We followed. The van followed. When we reached the U.S. Customs booth, the officer, a tired-looking woman in her 40s, barely glanced at our passports. Purpose of your visit to Canada? Tourism, I said, taking the family to see Toronto. How long will you be staying? A few days, maybe a week. She stamped our passports and waved us through. Have a nice trip. We drove onto the bridge. Behind us, the white van cleared U.S. Customs and followed. They're not even trying to hide anymore, Sarah said quietly. The Ambassador Bridge stretches nearly a mile across the Detroit River. We were halfway across, suspended over dark water, nowhere to go but forward, when Sarah's burner phone rang. She looked at the screen. Unknown number. She answered anyway. Mrs. Harrison? A different voice this time. Older, refined, authoritative. I'm calling to make you a final offer. You're about to cross into Canada. Once you do that, the situation becomes exponentially more complicated for everyone involved. But right now, you're on a bridge. You're vulnerable. And I want you to consider very carefully what happens next. Is that a threat? It's reality. The van behind you contains 3 men. They're armed. If I give the word, they will force your vehicle off the road, through that railing, into the Detroit River. You, your husband, your children, your elderly mother-in-law, all of you will drown. Your car will sink, and it will look like a tragic accident. A grief-stricken family, the husband driving recklessly in his emotional state after his wife's death. A terrible tragedy that no one will question. Sarah's hand was shaking so hard she could barely hold the phone. I looked in the rearview mirror. The van was 2 car lengths behind us now, closing. But, Whitmore continued smoothly, stop the car. Right now. Pull over to the shoulder. My men will take the evidence you stole. All of it. The files, the thumb drives, your passwords to any cloud accounts, the access codes to your dead man's switch. That's all. We'll let you go. You can cross into Canada. You can disappear. You can start a new life. We don't care about you anymore. We just want what you took. And if I don't believe you? Then you're about to find out what happens when you cross people who have billions of dollars and everything to lose. Your brother in Portland won't see the end of the week. Your sister's children will have a terrible accident at school. Your parents will have a medical emergency at their retirement home, and your family will die on this bridge. Right now. In the next 60 seconds if I give the word. The van accelerated. Now it was right behind us, its front bumper nearly touching our rear. Emma woke up, sensing the tension. "Mommy? What's happening?" "It's okay, baby," Sarah said, but her voice was cracking. "Everything's okay." "James," my mother said quietly, urgently. "There's the Canadian Customs Plaza. We're almost there. A quarter mile." I could see it. The end of the bridge. Safety. Canada. Inspector Chen waiting for us.
The van bumped us from behind. Not hard, just a tap, a warning. Mia screamed. "Hold on," I shouted, accelerating. The van accelerated too, pulling alongside us in the left lane. I could see the driver now, a man in his 30s, face hard and cold. The passenger window rolled down. I saw another man inside, his hand reaching for something. "Get down!" I yelled. My mother threw herself over both girls in the back seat. The rear window exploded. Not from a bullet. They'd thrown something heavy through it, a wrench or a tire iron. Glass sprayed everywhere. Emma was screaming. Mia was screaming. My mother was praying in a voice I'd never heard before. Sarah was still on the phone with Whitmore, her voice rising. "They're attacking us! We're on the bridge! They're trying to force us off!" "Then give me what I want," Whitmore shouted, his calm facade finally cracking. "Stop the goddamn car and give me the access codes." The van swerved into us. Metal screamed against metal. Our car lurched toward the right. I fought to keep control. The bridge railing was right there, inches away. Below, the Detroit River waited, dark and cold and 40 feet down. "James!" Sarah screamed. The van swerved again, harder this time. Our right tires hit the rumble strip. I could hear the scraping, feel the car pulling toward the edge. And then, sirens. Behind us, flashing lights, red and blue, multiple vehicles. Canadian Border Services, Michigan State Police, Ontario Provincial Police. They'd been waiting. The van immediately dropped back, tried to slow down, tried to blend into traffic, but there were more police vehicles coming from the Canadian side, blocking any retreat, blocking the entire bridge. We were through, past the last support tower, onto Canadian soil. I pulled into the Canadian Customs Plaza and stopped, my hands shaking so badly I could barely put the car in park. My shirt was soaked with sweat. My heart was trying to pound its way out of my chest. Officers surrounded the van, weapons drawn. The men inside put their hands up slowly, faces pale with the realization of what they'd just done. Attempted murder on an international bridge, in full view of traffic cameras with law enforcement from 2 countries watching. A tall man in an RCMP uniform approached our car. He had Asian features, a calm expression, but his hand was on his weapon, and there were 4 more officers behind him. "Mr. and Mrs. Harrison, I'm Inspector Michael Chen. Agent Torres sent me. You're safe now. You're in Canada. You're under our protection."
3 hours later, RCMP safe house in Toronto. We sat in a nondescript house in a quiet Toronto suburb. Inspector Chen had driven us here himself, taking a route that doubled back several times, changed highways 3 times, and passed through 2 different municipalities to ensure we weren't followed. The house was furnished but impersonal, the kind of place that existed only for people who needed to disappear. There was food in the refrigerator, clean clothes in the bedrooms, first aid supplies, phone chargers, everything we needed. Sarah sat at the kitchen table with Agent Torres on a secure video call, going through everything she'd documented. The evidence, the names, the account numbers, the shell companies, the offshore accounts, all of it. I was in the living room with my mother and the girls. Emma was asleep on the couch, finally exhausted, her teddy bear clutched tight. Mia sat next to me, her journal open, writing everything down, processing it the way she always did, with words on paper. "Dad?" she said quietly. "Yeah, sweetheart? Is it really over? The running part?" I looked at her. 12 years old, and she just lived through something that would shape the rest of her life. "The dangerous part is over. They can't reach us here. But the rest, the trials, the testimony, starting over, that's just beginning." "Are we ever going home? To Evanston?" "Not to our old house. Not for a long time. Maybe never. But we'll make a new home. Somewhere safe." "Will Mom have to go to court?" "Probably. But she'll testify from here, where they can't touch her. Where they can't touch any of us." Mia was quiet for a moment, pen hovering over her journal. Then, "Dad, I'm glad she's alive. Even with everything else, I'm really, really glad she came back." "Me too, baby. Me too."
My mother came and sat on my other side. She looked exhausted. We all did, but there was something fierce and proud in her eyes. "That was the bravest thing I've ever seen," she said. "What Sarah did, what you both did, standing up to those people, getting us all out, getting us here. And we didn't have a choice. There's always a choice. You could have given them what they wanted, could have stayed quiet, could have let them win, but you didn't. You chose the hard thing, the right thing." She squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of you both." In the kitchen, I could hear Sarah's voice, steady and clear, walking Torah's through the evidence, burying the people who'd tried to bury her. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. I almost didn't open it, but something made me look. It was a photo of our house in Evanston, in daylight, from across the street, taken recently. I could see autumn leaves on our front lawn. And a message. "This isn't over. We have people everywhere. We know where your brother lives. We know where your sister works. We know which room your in-laws are in. We'll find you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but we will find all of you." I showed it to Inspector Chen, who'd just come in from checking the perimeter security. He looked at it, then at me. His expression didn't change. "They're trying to scare you. That's all they have left now. Fear." "Is it working?" He smiled grimly. "Mr. Harrison, those 3 men on the bridge are in custody, facing attempted murder charges in 2 jurisdictions. The 3 men we arrested at your house last night are being held without bail on breaking and entering, assault, and attempted kidnapping charges. Gary Phillips is testifying against everyone he worked with. We've frozen Sterling and Associates accounts. We've seized their records. Agent Torres tells me that in the next 48 hours, they'll arrest at least 20 more people connected to this conspiracy." He pulled out his own phone and showed me something. "This is your brother Derek, taken 30 minutes ago." The photo showed my brother standing in his apartment doorway with 2 Portland police officers. He looked confused, but safe. "This is your sister Amanda." Another photo, Amanda with her twin boys, surrounded by 4 Denver PD officers at her school. And these are Sarah's parents. A third photo showed an elderly couple sitting in what looked like a common room with 2 Green Bay police officers standing nearby. "Everyone you love is protected," Chen said. "Sterling's people can send all the threatening texts they want. It's empty bravado. They're done. They just don't know it yet. But they said they have people everywhere." They did, past tense, but their network is collapsing.
People are running scared, making deals, turning on each other. That's what criminals do when the walls close in. They save themselves. He put a hand on my shoulder. You're safe here, Mr. Harrison. Your family is safe. Your extended family is safe. And in 6 months, when the trials are over and these people are all in prison, you'll be able to go wherever you want. New names if you choose, new lives, new start, but alive. Together. That's what matters.
6 months later, the trials were everything we'd hoped for, and everything we'd feared. Sarah testified via secure video link from Toronto. For 3 days, she walked federal prosecutors through every document, every transaction, every name. She was brilliant, unshakable, the forensic accountant she'd always been, now with the moral authority of someone who'd risked everything for the truth. Gerald Whitmore, the CFO, got 35 years for fraud, conspiracy to commit murder, and bracketeering. Marcus Chen, Sarah's former supervisor, got 22 years for fraud and obstruction of justice. The 3 men from the bridge, attempted murder, conspiracy, assault with a deadly weapon, and about a dozen other charges, got 15 years each. Gary Phillips, the FBI analyst, got 12 years and permanent revocation of his security clearance. His cooperation helped bring down the entire network, but it didn't save him from prison. In total, 47 people connected to Sterling and Associates were indicted. 31 have been convicted so far. The rest are awaiting trial or have taken plea deals. The FBI kept their word about protecting our extended family. My brother Derek had 2 plainclothes officers stationed outside his Portland apartment for 3 months until all the arrests were complete. He called me after the first week, completely baffled. James, what the hell is going on? His voice was equal parts scared and confused. The FBI won't tell me anything except I'm a potential target of some investigation you're involved in. There are cops following me to work. They've interviewed my neighbors. My boss is freaking out. Talk to me. I couldn't tell him the truth. Not yet. Not while the trials were ongoing and the threats were still active. So I said what Agent Torres told me to say. Derek, I need you to trust me. Just stay safe. Do what the police tell you. I promise I'll explain everything when I can. But right now, your life might be in danger because of something Sarah uncovered. Sarah? Your dead wife, Sarah? Yes. James, you're scaring me. Good. Be scared, stay alert, and stay alive, please. My sister Amanda had a similar experience in Denver. Police escorts for her twin boys Marcus and Matthew to and from school every day. FBI agents interviewing their teachers. Plainclothes officers sitting in cars outside her house at night. She was terrified, convinced something horrible had happened to us.
She called me crying. Mom says you and Sarah and the girls just vanished. She won't tell me where you are, just keep saying you're safe. James, I'm your sister. The FBI is at my house. They're protecting my kids, but they won't tell me from what. What's happening? Amanda, listen to me. You and the boys are in danger because of something Sarah discovered at her company. Bad people. Dangerous people. The FBI is protecting you until they can arrest everyone involved. What about you? Where are you? Somewhere safe. With Sarah and the girls. With Sarah. James, Sarah is dead. We all went to her funeral. We buried her. I can't explain yet, I said, my voice breaking. I know how insane this sounds, but I need you to trust me. Sarah's alive. We're all alive. We're all safe. And when this is over, I'll explain everything. But right now, just let the police protect you and your boys. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, she's really alive? Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God, James. She started crying harder. I mourned her. I cried at her funeral. I held you while you sobbed. And she was alive?
She had to disappear. People were trying to kill her. Amanda, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. But she's alive, and we're together, and soon this will all be over. Sarah's parents were the hardest. They'd buried their daughter, grieved her, stood at her grave and said goodbye. And then Agent Torres had to sit them down in their small apartment at Maple Meadows and tell them the truth.
Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell, I need to tell you something that's going to be very difficult to hear. Your daughter Sarah is alive. Sarah's mother, Catherine Mitchell, 71 years old, just stared. That's not funny. I'm not joking, ma'am. Sarah ran away to escape people who were trying to kill her. They killed another person thinking it was Sarah. The body you buried was another woman, a victim of the same criminals. Sarah has been in hiding. She's safe now, but she can't see you yet, for your safety and hers. Sarah's father, Robert Mitchell, 74 years old, stood up from his chair, trembling. You're telling me we buried someone else's daughter? That Sarah is not dead? Yes, sir. I know this is... Where is she? Catherine demanded. If she's alive, I want to see her, right now. You can't. Not yet. She's in protective custody with her family. There are still active threats against everyone connected to her. We have officers protecting you right now. I don't care about protection. I want to see my daughter. Catherine was crying now, her voice rising. We mourned her. We said goodbye. My baby is alive, and you're telling me I can't see her? Torres handed her a phone. She wants to talk to you. The call lasted 43 minutes. Sarah told them everything. They cried, she cried. I could hear it from the other room, the sound of parents getting their child back from the dead, only to have her taken away again for her own safety. When Sarah finally hung up, she was shaking. They stood at my grave, she whispered. They threw flowers onto my casket. They went home and sorted through my childhood things. And the whole time, I was alive. What kind of daughter does that make me? The kind who's still breathing. The kind who kept them safe by staying dead.
Jennifer Morales' family received a $7 million settlement from Sterling's insurance and a personal apology from the FBI for the investigative failures that led to her death. It won't bring her back. Her 7-year-old son, his name's Miguel, will grow up without his mother. But at least the people who killed her are in prison. And at least her death wasn't for nothing. Sarah made sure of that. She testified about Jennifer specifically, named her, honored her, made sure the jury understood that this wasn't just financial crime. It was murder. A woman with a name, a life, a child, taken because she fell into the hands of evil men while performing her rightful duties. The judge, when sentencing the men directly responsible for Jennifer's death, said, "You didn't just commit fraud. You didn't just steal money. You murdered an innocent woman to cover your crimes. You took a mother from her child. You burned her body and put another woman's wedding ring on her finger. There is no mercy for that in this court." And us? We live in Vancouver now. Different names, different lives. James and Sarah Hartwell are gone, erased. The people we are now have different birth certificates, different social security numbers, different histories. Stories that don't include Chicago or Sterling and Associates, or a funeral for someone who wasn't dead. Once the trials were over and the threat was officially neutralized,
We finally got to tell our families the whole truth. Derek flew up to Vancouver first. He'd been told he could finally visit, finally get answers. He walked into our living room, saw Sarah standing there, alive, real, breathing, and just stopped. Froze completely. "They told me you died," he said, his voice strange and flat. "James called me sobbing at 3 a.m. Told me there'd been an accident. I flew to Chicago for your funeral. I was a pallbearer. I helped carry your casket. I threw dirt on your grave. I know," Sarah said softly. "Derek, I'm so sorry." He looked at me. "You knew? At the funeral? You knew she was alive?" "No, I found out later, the night of the third day after the funeral. She texted me. I pulled out my phone, showed him that first message, still saved. I thought I was having a mental breakdown." Derek read it, then looked at Sarah, then back at me. Then he started laughing. Not happy laughter, the kind that comes when something is so insane your brain can't process it any other way. The kind that sounds like crying. "Your dead wife," he said between gasps, "texted you from an airport bathroom, and you just went and got her." "Yeah? And then you ran from murderers and drove to Canada with your kids and your mom in the middle of the night?" "Yeah." He shook his head, tears streaming down his face now, that unhinged laugh finally breaking into sobs. "That's the most insane and the most romantic thing I've ever heard." Then he crossed the room and hugged Sarah so hard she gasped. "Don't ever do that again. You understand me? Don't you ever make me go to your funeral again. I can't do that again." "I won't," Sarah promised. "I swear I won't." My sister Amanda came next, bringing her twin boys, Marcus and Matthew, now 9 years old. She was angrier than Derek, justifiably so. She walked in, saw Sarah, and her face went through shock, relief, and then fury in about 3 seconds. "You let me think you were dead," she said, her voice shaking. "Sarah, I mourned you. I wore black to your funeral. My boys asked why Aunt Sarah wasn't coming to Christmas, and I didn't know what to tell them. I didn't know how to explain death to 8-year-olds. "I know. Amanda, I'm so sorry. I couldn't." "I know why you couldn't. Agent Torres explained everything. The fraud, the murder, the threats against my kids. I understand intellectually why you had to disappear, why you had to let us all think you were dead, but emotionally," her voice cracked, "it was cruel. It was cruel, and I'm glad you're alive, and I'm furious at you, and I don't even know how to feel right now." Sarah started crying. "You have every right to be angry. All of you do. I put you through hell." "You did. You also saved our lives, apparently. Agent Torres said those people were planning to go after Derek, to go after my boys if you didn't give them what they wanted." Amanda pulled Sarah into a fierce hug. "So I'm angry and grateful and relieved and confused all at once. And I'm also never going to one of your funerals again because apparently they don't mean anything." The boys, Marcus and Matthew, were less complicated. They just ran to Sarah and hugged her, asking why she'd been gone so long, telling her about school and soccer and everything she'd missed. Kids are resilient that way. They accepted she was back, and that was enough. Sarah's parents were the last to visit. It took 2 months to arrange it safely, to make sure no one was watching, to ensure the trip wouldn't compromise our location. Sarah's father, Robert Mitchell, quiet and stoic as always, walked through the door first. He saw his daughter and just stopped, his weathered hands trembling. "Dad," Sarah said. He crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled her into his arms. This man who never showed emotion, who'd served in Vietnam and never talked about it, who'd worked in a factory for 40 years and never complained, he sobbed like a child. "My girl," he kept saying. "My baby girl." Sarah's mother, Catherine, was right behind him. She touched Sarah's face like she was checking to make sure she was real, traced her features with shaking fingers. "We buried you," she whispered. "We picked out your casket. We chose the flowers, white roses, your favorite. We stood in the rain and watched them lower you into the ground." She was crying now, harder. "I went home and I packed up your old room, your high school yearbooks, your prom dress, your swim team medals. I was going to give them to the girls, to remember you by. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. You don't dare." Catherine pulled back, her hands on Sarah's shoulders. "You did what you had to do. You survived, and you kept my grandbaby safe. That's all that matters. You're here. You're alive. My prayers were answered, even though I didn't know to pray for this." Robert finally spoke, his voice rough. The FBI explained everything. The fraud, the murder, that poor woman Jennifer Morales, the threats. He looked at me. "You got her out. You kept her safe. You protected our granddaughters. Thank you, James. Thank you for bringing my daughter back." "I'll always bring her back," I said. "You're a good man. Whatever your name is now, you're a good man." Presently, the girls are doing well, considering. Mia's in 8th grade now, Emma's in 5th. They both see therapists twice a week to help process the trauma. They have nightmares sometimes. Emma won't sleep without her teddy bear and a nightlight. And Mia keeps a packed bag under her bed, just in case, even though we've told her we don't have to run anymore. But they're healing. They laugh. They have friends, though they have to be careful about what they share. They're learning to live with new names, new histories, new versions of themselves. Mia still writes in her journal every night. She's filled 4 since we arrived in Vancouver. She says she's writing everything down so she doesn't forget, so she has proof it all really happened. So someday, when she's older, she can make sense of it. Emma's joined a soccer team. She's good at it, has Sarah's athletic ability. Watching her play, I sometimes forget about the bridge, about the fire, about everything we ran from. For 90 minutes on a Saturday morning, we're just normal parents watching our kid play soccer.
My mother lives with us now. She sold her house in Skokie and moved north permanently. Says she's not letting us out of her sight again. Says after everything we went through, she's earned the right to be overprotective. She's thriving, actually. Joined a book club, volunteers at the local library, made friends with other grandmothers at the girls' schools. She's happier here than she was in Illinois, though she'd never admit it. Sarah works as a consultant for the RCMP's Financial Crimes Unit. They recruited her specifically because of her expertise and her experience.
She helps them investigate money laundering, embezzlement, corporate fraud, cases that look on the surface like legitimate business but hide criminal activity underneath. She's good at it. Exceptional, actually. She can look at a spreadsheet and see the story beneath the numbers, where money comes from, where it goes, where it's hiding. The same skills that got her into this mess are now helping put other criminals behind bars. I couldn't save Jennifer Morales, she told me once, but maybe I can save the next person. Maybe I can stop the next corporation before they kill someone to cover their tracks. I teach high school history now. It's different from my old job in marketing, but I like it. I like working with teenagers, watching them figure out who they are. I like having summers off with my family. I like knowing that at the end of each day, I get to go home to people I love who are alive and safe.
We were approved to return to the United States last month if we want to. Agent Torres called personally to tell us. Sterling and Associates is finished. Everyone involved is either in prison or has fled the country. The threats have ended. You're free to go back if you choose. We talked about it as a family. Sat around the dinner table and discussed our options. And reached an agreement. We're staying. Vancouver is home now. Not just a safe house or a temporary refuge. Home. Today is Sarah's 36th birthday. We're having dinner at a restaurant overlooking English Bay, watching the sunset paint the water in shades of gold and pink and orange. The kind of sunset that makes you believe in second chances. Emma is telling a story about something that happened at school, animated and happy. She's talking about her best friend Sophia and a science project involving volcanoes and way too much baking soda. And then it exploded all over Mr. Peterson, and he just stood there covered in foam looking so confused. She's laughing so hard she can barely get the words out. Mia's taking photos with her phone, documenting everything the way she does now. She started a private Instagram account just for family, where she posts pictures of normal things. Breakfast, sunsets, Emma being goofy, the cat we adopted last month, an orange tabby she named Phoenix, a visual diary of safety. Proof that we're here. We're real. We survived. My mother is laughing at something the waiter said, her eyes bright. She looks younger than she has in years. The lines around her eyes are from smiling now, not from worry or fear. She video called Derek earlier today to wish Sarah a happy birthday. He's doing great in Portland. Just got promoted as senior software architect at Cascade Tech. Making good money, dating someone nice, living the life he should have been living 2 years ago, before everything went crazy. Amanda sent a gift that arrived yesterday, a necklace with 5 birthstones, one for each of us. Even our new names couldn't stop her from remembering who we really are. The card said, "For my sister who came back from the dead, for my nieces who are braver than they know, for my brother-in-law who went and got her. Love you always, even when I'm mad at you." Sarah's parents sent flowers with a card that said simply, "Happy birthday to our miracle. Love, Mom and Dad." They know better than to write anything more specific. They're visiting next month. Their twice-yearly pilgrimage to see the daughter who died and lived. And Sarah. Sarah's smiling. Really smiling. The haunted look that lived in her eyes for months, after the bridge, after the trials, after everything, it's finally faded. Replaced by something lighter. Something that looks like peace.
What are you thinking about? She asks me. That night, I say, when you got your text, I thought I was losing my mind. You kind of were. I was sitting in our bedroom, wearing my funeral suit, drinking scotch, staring at your clothes in the closet, and my dead wife texted me. I shake my head. What was I supposed to think? She reaches across the table and takes my hand. Her wedding ring, a new one, different from the one they put on Jennifer Morales' finger, catches the light. You were supposed to come get me. And you did. I'll always come get you. I know. Do you ever regret it? She asks quietly. What I did? Reporting them? Everything that came after? Never, I said. We lost everything. Our house, our jobs, our names, our old life. We can never go back to being who we were. I agree, but we're alive. All of us. Together. We helped put 31 criminals in prison. We got justice for Jennifer Morales. We saved hundreds of families from losing their savings. Derek and Amanda and your parents are safe. That's not nothing. 31 people are in prison because of me. 31 people are in prison because of what they did. You just made sure they didn't get away with it. There's a difference, Sarah. A big difference. She leans against me and I wrap my arms around her. I think about Jennifer every day, about her son, Miguel. If I hadn't reported the fraud, if you hadn't reported the fraud, she'd still be alive. I know. I know you carry that. But you didn't kill her. They did. They chose to murder an innocent woman to cover their crimes. That's on them, not you. It doesn't feel that way. I know, but her son knows the truth now. Agent Torres made sure of that. Miguel knows his mother died because bad people tried to hide their crimes. He knows a woman named Sarah risked everything to bring those people to justice. He knows his mother's death wasn't meaningless. He's 8 years old now, growing up without his mom. Yes, and that's a tragedy. But he's also growing up knowing that justice exists, that good people fought for his mother, that the men who killed her are in prison because someone cared enough to stand up. I turn her to face me. Sarah, do you remember what Jennifer's grandmother wrote to you? Sarah's eyes fill with tears. She thanked me. She thanked you for making sure the people who killed her daughter faced justice. She said Jennifer would have wanted someone to stand up and do the right thing, even if it was dangerous. She said you gave their family peace. It doesn't bring her back. No, nothing brings her back. But her death had meaning because of what you did. Because you refused to look away. Because you chose truth over safety. I wipe the tears from her cheeks. And you know what else? Last week, you told me about that email you got from the woman in Wisconsin. Tell me about that again. Her name is Patricia Morrison. Her mother was one of Sterling's clients. They'd stolen her entire retirement. $340,000 she'd saved over 40 years of teaching.
She said, because of my testimony, they're getting their money back. The court ordered full restitution. How many families like that? Torres said the restitution fund has identified 217 victims so far. Total stolen, over $180 million. They're getting it back. All of it, plus interest. 217 families, I say. 217 families who lost everything and are getting their lives back because you were brave enough to speak up, because you gathered evidence, because you testified. That's your legacy, Sarah, not the guilt, the courage.
Inside, I hear Mia get up to use the bathroom, then pad back to her room. Normal, mundane sounds of family life. The sounds I thought I'd lost forever. Come on, Sarah says. Let's go inside. I want to check on the girls before bed. We go inside together. And this time, I lock the door behind us. Not because I'm afraid, though some part of me probably always will be, but because everything I love is inside these walls. And I'm never letting it go again.
They say you can't come back from the dead. But sometimes, if you're brave enough and lucky enough and stubborn enough to refuse to stay buried, you can. This is the story of how my wife died twice on paper and lived once in reality. This is the story of how a text message from the grave became a second chance at life. This is the story of how love makes you do impossible things, like driving to an airport at midnight to pick up your dead wife, like running from killers with your children sleeping in the back seat, like choosing to believe in the impossible because the alternative is unacceptable. This is the story of a family that should have ended, but didn't. And it's the only story that matters. I'm James Harrison, formerly of Evanston, Illinois, currently of Vancouver, British Columbia. Husband, father, believer in impossible returns, still answering late night texts, still coming to get her, always. If you're watching this and you found evidence of fraud, corruption, or crime in your workplace, document everything. Tell someone you trust. Contact the authorities. Yes, it will be scary. Yes, it may cost you. But some things are worth the cost. Jennifer Morales was real. Not the name, but the person she represents. Every year, innocent people die because they witnessed something they shouldn't have, or knew something dangerous, or were simply in the wrong place when powerful people needed a body. If you're watching this and someone you love has disappeared or died under suspicious circumstances, trust your instincts. Ask questions. Demand answers. Don't let them bury the truth along with the body. If you're watching this and you feel trapped in a situation where powerful people are threatening you, you're not alone. Document everything. Reach out to the FBI, to journalists, to advocacy organizations. There are people who will help. There are people who will believe you. And if you're watching this and you're just someone who loves a good story about survival and second chances, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about Jennifer Morales and Miguel and the 217 families who got their money back. Sometimes the dead come back. Not as ghosts, but as survivors. Sometimes justice arrives late, but it arrives. Sometimes love means driving to an airport at midnight to pick up your dead wife.
And sometimes, that's enough.